Grant Robertson.
Mr Chair, what an interesting contribution there. And it's timely that the Minister mentioned who agreed on that side of the House with John Key. Because I wonder if members on that side of the House would agree with John Key when he said the following. The second issue that I raise is if Michael Cullen thinks that 25% of New Zealanders will have a serious KiwiSaver account in 5 years' time, he's deluded. That was in 2006. In 2006. So hands up how many members on the national side of the House agree with John Key that a quarter of New Zealanders, come on, no hands up there, they don't agree with John Key one bit. But I've got another option for them. Not only, they've got another option, so either members on that side of the House think that Michael Cullen was deluded, that there would be 25%, or do they agree with John Key when he said he's dreaming that 25%? The other two options, no one putting their hands up. Because, Mr Chair, on that side of the House, the guilt and the shame is that by the time the KiwiSaver Act passed in 2006, there was one party left in this House opposing KiwiSaver. One party. Can you guess who it was? Do you think it was the ACT Party? Was it the ACT Party? No? Was it the Māori Party? No? Was it New Zealand First? Was it the Greens? It was National. The only party left opposing KiwiSaver in 2006 was the National Party. And Mr Chair, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about, is the National Party who've never liked this scheme that allowed ordinary, hard-working New Zealanders to get some extra dignity in retirement. They only wanted to keep that for their mates who could already afford it. But a scheme that actually gives all hard-working New Zealanders the chance for that little bit extra in retirement. And why not, they say, take away the incentive? Why not take away the incentive? Because the very people for whom that will make the biggest difference are those low-income New Zealanders, are those young New Zealanders who find it hard to begin savings. But, you know, we can come back to John Key because he had an awful lot to say about the KiwiSaver Act 2006. We'll also ask National Party members if they agree with the following statement John Key made about Michael Cullen in 2006 in the KiwiSaver Act. If the Minister of Finance hadn't been so lazy, he could have gone and had a good look at what President Bush did. Because that's always a good idea, isn't it? Go and have a look at what President Bush did. That went well. No hands up on the National Party side of the House. Don't support John Key on that one either. The National Party, here's another one from John Key. He said, Michael Cullen knows full well that when there is a mortgage diversion, 2006, keep up, Dr. Smith, 2006, I'm sorry that Dr. Smith won't remember that because that exact moment, John Key was trying to take over the leadership of the National Party and he was doing Bill English's numbers. That's why he doesn't remember. He was too busy doing Bill English's numbers. So here's what John Key said. Michael Cullen knows full well that when there is a mortgage diversion, a savings account is turned into a checking account. Rubbish. They're not here today saying let's get rid of that. They're not here today saying let's not have people borrow for their first home. What they're doing is what they think they can get away with, which is undermining the incentives to be in the scheme. And the reason we're here under urgency, the reason that the National Party put this in as retrospective legislation is because this incentive works. And that's why, because they know if they waited and it went through a normal process and there was a proper select committee process, thousands of New Zealanders would sign up. And just how bad would that be, Chris Bishop, if thousands of New Zealanders got to enjoy being part of a savings culture, but he would rather cut them off at the knees. The National Party has always hated KiwiSaver, Mr Chair, and this is just another example.
Order, just a moment, I'll take a call in a moment. I just want to make the point that the last two speakers have strayed a heck of a long way around the park and given each other a slap. It was one each way. Now we're coming back to a more confined debate, giving leeway for the fact that there isn't a select committee stage, taking into account all the things I'm sure there would be numerous points of order about if I failed to mention them in my preamble to the next call.
Mr Chair.
Jan